What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Back with my official prediction for Vladimir Klitschko versus Bryant Jennings. And I am looking forward to it because I do like the heavyweight division. If you guys know boxing has typically in the past focused on the heavyweight division. And over the years, the little divisions, the lighter weights became more prominent as the heavyweight division faded. So I'm always anxious to see the heavyweight division come back alive. So I'm looking forward to this particular fight. Klitschko, he's been the man, been very dominant, him and his brother. And then now you have a guy emerging who's young, athletic, and things like that in Bryant Jennings, and he's undefeated. So hopefully we get a good HBO scrap. Now check out my segment, First Look, where I broke it down statistically, kind of a tale of the tape of this particular fight. So check that out for like actual facts and stats. But this prediction wasn't really hard for me to make just because I can only see it really unfolding how I'm thinking. So I'm picking Vladimir Klitschko to win. And I honestly want to say a late stoppage. I give credit to Bryant Jennings. I think he's game. I think he has tough heart. You know what I mean? He's a Philly guy. You can't count Philly guys out. It may even go the decision. But I really just see it being overall too much, a step up in class. And it's very hard to pick against a guy like Klitschko. I mean, when someone's looks so dominant, they're tall, they know how to use. It's not just being tall. Like anybody could be tall, but if you don't fight tall, like Andy Lee versus Chavez Jr. Andy Lee was taller than Chavez Jr., but he didn't fight tall, or he did fight tall and then he got away from it and got lured into a brawl and gave up his height. But Klitschko doesn't really do that. He's been knocked out before and he's learned from it. You know what I mean? So a guy with 63 fights or 60 plus fights versus a guy with less than 20 fights at this level is just hard for me to pick against a guy with 60 plus fights and that's been a champion and defended 17 consecutive times. And again, those facts are on the Ego First Look, so he gets into more detail with that. And then the other thing, Bryant Jennings, he doesn't even have like a crazy amateur background or whatnot. His record was 13-4. So again, just experience, I think, is going to play a huge factor. Klitschko has been knocked out. He's been dominant. You know what I mean? So he's had a bit of both experiences. So I just think that experience is huge for Klitschko. He knows how to use his height. He has that laser jab. And the best possible chance for Bryant Jennings, to me, is to, based on his size and his style, like there's not one thing that jumps out. I like Bryant Jennings, but there's not really one thing that jumps out. Like when I look at Deontay Wilder, I'm like, okay, he's big. You know what I mean? You can just look at him and his size looks imposing. And he has a very powerful right hand. So just those two things alone seem like they could be at least a little bit of a challenge. Somebody who's within 2 inches of Klitschko's height, plus they have long arms and they have pretty freakish power. Like Deontay Wilder has a lot of knockouts in his fight, minus the Stavern fight, but he showed that he could hurt Stavern, who has a granite fucking chin. So when I look at Bryant Jennings, there's not one thing. He's like a worker. He's a worker, a guy who doesn't have much amateur experience, which I think is going to play a factor. But he's a worker. He's willing to put the work in. He has the heart to. But when you step up to this type of caliber, I just see it being too much. And I know upsets happen in boxing, especially in the heavyweight division. One punch can change everything. I don't see it happening like that. I think Jennings can give a game effort, do better than Povetkin, probably do better than Pulev and guys like that. But in the end, I just see it being too much. And like I said, I see a late stoppage. I want to say around 9 through 11. Possibly earlier, possibly a decision, but either way, I see the victory going to Vladimir Klitschko. I don't really see it the other way. I'd have to be proven wrong, and if I am wrong, I've been wrong in the past, I'll give Bryant Jennings full credit. Now, he does have a slight advantage because he's from Philly. They're fighting in Madison Square Garden, so I'm sure he's going to have a lot of supporters, and the energy is going to be there. So we'll see if that's enough for him to mount an attack that can stop Klitschko. I think really for Bryant Jennings to be successful, he has to get in on the inside and rough Klitschko up and have that crazy work rate, you know what I'm saying, to the point where Klitschko don't have time to think, and he doesn't force a tie up. You know what I mean? And the thing is, it's hard to get past that piston jab that Klitschko has. You know what I mean? You're probably gonna eat shots which could knock you down trying to force your way on the inside. That's what happens when a tall guy fights tall. It's like what you have to do, you have to have, I think Jennings, he almost has to fight the perfect fight for me. You know what I mean? He has to have that Mike Tyson athletic head movement. I'm talking about prime Mike Tyson, of course. That athletic movement, head movement, really muscle his way on the inside. And again, at the weigh-in, Klitschko outweighed him by 20-something pounds. And it's not just about pure weight, because I know some people who might be 20 pounds lighter than another person, but they're stronger. Klitschko, aside from his actual body mass index and his size, he's strong. You know what I'm saying? He has like an 80% knockout ratio in 60-something fights. So it's not just the fact that he outweighs him. He's strong. So I think he just has to, Brian Jennings to me has to have that Maidana, I don't give a fuck attitude, like when he rushed Broner. That's kind of what he has to do, which is a huge gamble because you might taste some of that power from Klitschko trying to do that. But I don't see him boxing him from range and being successful. And in boxing, they say you're only as good as your last performance. I thought his performance versus Mike Perez was very rocky, very, very rocky. He won, but it just wasn't like a dominant win where I was blown away. And then you look at Klitschko's last performance against Pulev, and he looked really good. And that was actually a pretty entertaining fight, especially for Klitschko standards. Not much on the clinch and a bunch of knockdowns and stuff like that. So based on everything I've seen, recent performances, and everything I kind of detailed in the video, I got to rock with my man, Vladimir Klitschko. Drop me a comment if you think Jennings can pull off the upset, which I do feel it will be an upset. But let me know how he does it. If you pick Vladimir Klitschko, let me know if I missed anything that you see as being the key in this particular fight. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.